Is yoga a healthy choice for exercising? And if so, is it right for you? What do you know about this thing called yoga?
Um,
Is that all you know about yoga? Is that what comes to mind when you think about yoga?
no, no, just doing a little yoga over here. Yeah.
Just a
No, I
little
think
yoga.
it gets a little bit weird in some people's worlds or opinions, but it definitely is a good thing to do to sort of stretch the body, build flexibility, and it's pretty challenging too.
Yeah, so it can build flexibility. And due to the fact that you do all kinds of poses, what is it? Down dog, up dog,
Yeah.
triangle pose, tree pose. There's all kinds of different poses that you're actually having to use your body mechanics to stay
Yeah.
in one position for a certain length of time.
Well, it does help. I mean, there are times where when I'm in the gym, I will do the down dog and up dog. I mean, I'm sure who come up with those crazy names, but ultimately,
Ever seen a dog stretch?
well, you actually have. That would make
That's the
sense. I
down
didn't
dog.
realize that, but yeah, I think that they're good. I get people's complaints or concerns about the mystical origins of it. But ultimately, I think people need to get their minds off of that and just start moving the body mechanically in different areas to bring challenge to the body and more mechanical health to the body.
So we've kind of understood that it does improve flexibility. That would make sense because you're
Yep.
doing these stretching poses. It also brings strength because you're using your own body weight as a weight when you're holding these poses for different lengths of time. Yoga also involves, breathing. That's one of the things that we've talked in
Mm,
previous episodes about calming the nervous system is the diaphragmatic breathing.
yep.
But what about stress relief with yoga?
Well, I think it is because ultimately, when you go out and lift weights, another type of exercise people are familiar with, or go out and do some sort of cardiovascular activity, that may be relaxing a bit, but it's still also strenuous. Yoga has active relaxation techniques mixed in. And that's a good thing because many people are stressed out. So I think a good yoga class or a good stretching class is probably just what the doctor ordered. Typically post exercise is good. So when you think about yoga, you want to think about doing it in a post exercise manner, not pre exercise manner, although it is exercise in itself.
Well, and yoga, if we are stretching and we're strengthening and we're using our breath, it seems to me that yoga would also play a very big role in improving mental health.
Well, it will, because as we've talked about a bunch of times, the stress response is something that's very chronic in our world today. And people today are, they're kind of addicted to stress anymore, and that's what they are driven to. A good place of yoga is nice because you can actually, not just disconnect from the world, but you can sort of kind of connect with yourself again. Really understand the way your body is. We hear the terms "feel your breath" or "experience your breath." Where's your breath? And I've talked many times about diaphragmatic breathing. That's sort of a yoga-ish technique, pushing the breath downwards in the diaphragm as opposed to having it all up here all the time.
Yeah, well, and
So
and
there's
that
good things.
changes the autonomic nervous
It
system's
does.
response. So it takes it out of fight or flight and more into rest and relax, which would calm the brain.
Well, and people would relate to this that have taken a yoga class. If you're out there, you know full well that at the end of that, when you're having your cool down time, it's not uncommon to hear somebody snore. I've heard that before. Like, what in the world? That's somebody snoring. They're
What in the
asleep,
world?
man. So they've relaxed, and
Yes.
and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And usually it's in an environment with without headbanging music. It's usually calm,
Calm.
and that's
And the
good.
lights are softer.
Yep. And so you really want to put yourself in an environment, whether it's in a group class or even alone, to sort of bring that sort of vibe into your life more often.
Now, from a clinic standpoint, I personally have been through 5 different yoga training certifications. So, not all yoga classes are created
Right.
equal. And when it comes to like back problems, neck problems, hip problems, yoga can be very beneficial when you're taking instruction from somebody who really actually knows how to line the system up and line those joints up in a manner that can decrease disc compression,
Yep.
decrease, for lack of better terms, inflammation.
Well, and that's good, and it all depends. I mean, it's all about the instructor, the type, et cetera. I mean, one type I'm not a big fan of is where you go just drink wine. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think that's
Yoga and
very
wine.
wise. Just go drink a bunch of wine and let's get drunk and do some yoga. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Although I guess that would give you a little bit of relaxation, I suppose. And then there's hot yoga, right? That's a whole different type
Yes.
that can push the heart rate up a little bit higher. Can
And
have
improve
some benefits.
flexibility
Yep.
because of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So yoga may, with all of these things that we've talked about, from flexibility to strength, of course, you improve strength, you improve the quality of muscle, the tone of muscle, and bone density. It improves breathing because oftentimes they're guiding you with your breath. You breathe in and you breathe out with each pose. We've talked about how that can actually improve mental health or calm anxiety or change brain chemistry. So overall, yoga sounds to me like can improve the quality of one's life and even dealing with physical issues like lower back, neck pain, those kinds of things.
Oh, there's no question. I think that yoga is good. We've been asked about that, tens and probably even hundreds of times, but I think it's good for us. I think we should be doing it. We should be training in a cardiovascular manner. We should be training with some kind of resistance training, and we should be doing some kind of stretching inclusive of yoga.
What do you think about yoga and its ability to boost the immune system? If you're moving through these poses and you've got more blood, oxygen, and nutrients circulating through the system, does that resonate with any kind of boost in immune health?
Well, it does. I mean, if the body's toxic and it's dealing with toxins, it's not going to be able to deal with the attacks that come on you from, bacteria, parasites, viruses, et cetera. And further, when you exercise in any way, you get the lymphatic system moving as well. So you get this secondary line of toxins pushed out as well. So it is beneficial in all aspects. And, people look at us and say, well, we're Christians. How can we do yoga? Look, just take all the mystery out of it, the mystical stuff out of it, and move the body more in those particular positions. Find a good instructor, and you'll find yourself getting healthier. We hear it all the time. So try a little yoga out. It's not a bad thing, and you'll be better for it.
I could use your assistance.
Okay,
Jesus. Huh? My name is Jesus.
Sure. Jesus.
Jesus is here today.
You looking for a job?
Yes, sir.
You and Mark have 45 days before the bank forecloses.
Not to worry. They do not call me by God Byron for nothing. The collection plate starts to be passed around. Mark reaches into the basket and shouts, "You and your family are the winner from the First Church of the Lotto." Kind of think of it like a high-stakes bingo night every Sunday.
Poopy diaper! This video of the diaper is going viral right before our eyes.
this is a miracle.
What is?
Friends of Faith has over 300,000 followers.
Oh my dad! That's more followers than Moses had.
Jesus! Take the wheel! No, stop! Take the wheel!
I got it, buddy.
And when you navigate through these economies with people, here's what happens. We want to hold their hand through it, let them know when it's time to buy, sell, reallocate, get out of Dodge. Because a lot of times when you're struck with fear does two things. Number one, it can paralyze, and people just put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to forget about it and hopefully it gets better. Or it causes you to make a wrong decision. And this is why we are here, is to help people navigate through the political quagmire nonsense that's going on, the economic malaise, and the absolute collapse that we're seeing. And when our freedoms are eroding, our political freedoms, our economic freedoms, our personal freedoms, our religious freedoms, our health freedoms, they're all tied together. But you know what doesn't need to erode with that? our finances.
KirkElliottPhD.com/Sherwood.
Exploring biohacking, bioharmonizing, biosynergizing, stacking, resilience, or anti-fragility.
Start here. No gimmicks, just proven results.